be showing you how my 2 troughs are coming on for my beans. Remember we did those a long time ago. I dug the big trench, filled it up with a load of peelings and old vegetables and stuff like that, covered that over, dug a second one, and that one is just filling up nicely and is ready to be covered over. Right, so here's our trench, and we're just going to put a few more bits and pieces in, the last few, because we've filled it halfway. There we are. And we'll just spread it out, fill up any little gaps that we've got left. And then I think what we'll do now, there we are, we'll just bring the soil that was back there back over. There we are. Just to fill up that hole again. So I'll carry on doing this, just filling the hole up, and I'll be back with you in a moment. Right, so that's all of that covered over. I've made the bed nice and smooth so it's all one height all the way through. Now we need to put our bean poles in. Now I've got some very long ones here. Bearing in mind they need to go in the soil about a foot. So I would suggest you get 8-foot ones, because frankly you can't reach much higher than 7 feet. So anything that's just taller than yourself, have that from your full stretch up. So I've got 8-feet ones here. I have had 10 feet before, but that means that there's 9 feet above the soil and it's just too big. So here I've got 2, and I've got some twisties. You can either use twisties or you can use string, whatever way to attach them together, and I'll show you how I will make the frame for the runner beans to climb up. The trench is here, so I'm going to put 1 stick either side and see how far you can push it down. If you can get it down a foot, then that is absolutely wonderful. I would suggest nothing less than a foot, otherwise it will wobble about. It can wobble a bit, but you can feel that it's actually very secure in the soil. So we'll push the other one down as well. There we are. So that is about 9 inches to a foot apart. I've got another one over here as well, and there's like 9 inches to a foot between those as well, because you need space to be able to get down. Now all we need to do now is to twisty them together or tie them together, whichever way you want to do it. So we'll do this one side and then we'll do one the other side, and I will show you then the long bit that you need to go over between them. Good rule of thumb is if you can't reach the top now, then it's too tall, so buy shorter sticks. So I've done it, and I've got one to go across the top. If you put it between where they cross over, it actually sits in there quite nicely at the moment, but just for a little bit of extra security we're going to tie it in there, either with a twisty or with a string. And I'll also now go and do one on the other side. Now I'm going to put the ones that go down now straight. I'm going to put them straight down. You can, if you've got lots of beans, you can put them at a triangle angle as you've done with the ones on the outside. If you haven't got many, I've got quite a few at home, but I think for this year I will just put 1 stick down and just tie it to the top, one along next to each other. So I'll show you how I'll do that. So we'll start with the first one, and we'll put it relatively close because there's not going to be anything else this way towards the supports that we've put in. So this is just, I'm going to put it in between, in the middle, so it goes straight up to the bar that goes across the top. So again, we'll push this in. If you can push it in a foot, then that will be wonderful. When you push the bean sticks in, they will break if you don't push them in properly. So you need to hold them as close to the ground as you can and push them in that way. If you hold them from the top and push them, it will snap and you've wasted all your long ones, and then you'll have to use them for something smaller, which is fine, but they're quite expensive. So there we go, we'll do that one and we'll tie that at the top. Now I will leave a gap of say 9 inches between one stick to the other. So I'll work my way along the line and I'll put them in and then I'll tie them to the top. So I'll carry on and I'll show you the finished product at the end. There we go, so that's all the way along there. I've managed to get in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 sticks. I'll put 2 beans to a stick when I plant them in. If you haven't planted your beans in the greenhouse yet, you don't need to worry, because from mid-May to mid-June you can plant them straight in the ground. I know I said earlier about a frost, that you always get a frost before the end of May, but if you plant them straight in the soil now, just your beans that haven't grown yet, they'll be like 3 inches down, and by the time they come through the soil, they start poking their heads up, it will be the beginning of June. Some people do that, but if you're going to do that, make sure you plant them between the middle of May and the middle of June, okay? And then you won't have any problem with frost. But if you have grown your beans and they're sitting in the greenhouse waiting, do not put them out until the beginning of June. So I've got another one to do, which I will do soon, I will do in a minute, and then next time I see you we've got more seeds to sow in May. So I look forward to seeing you then. Bye bye. And there's a car coming up and he's staring at me.